Okay, so we're going to run the SEO Optima report again in the section of on-page SEO, but with a different website and a bit quicker, just so you can see how things might change and you get a flavour for different areas of improvement and what they're also doing well. I'll be a bit quicker on this one, just so it's not so tiresome, because believe me, this report can seem a bit complicated when it's run so many times. So press the big yellow button, the audit button. This is just a way when I go through it, just to help the information resonate with you so you have a really good, thorough understanding of what this report means. This one is again another charity, and it's for a donkey sanctuary in the UK. Overall grading, they have a C+, so they definitely have some improvements they can make. Anything really with a B+, I typically would go, yep, you definitely can improve things. The other one we had, I think it was an A, but there was still improvements they can make. So again, categorizing these sections, on-page SEO, which we're going to go into a bit more detail on what they're doing good and what areas they can improve. The links. So we might go this on another video as well, because they're really doing quite bad on that with the D. Usability. So this is again your how your mobile devices and things like your tablets use the product. So how images nicely display on there. Performance, how fast it loads. They're also not great at that. And socials, so what social sites are linking to your website, or what you have on your website, shall I say, that is your own social channel, so your own social media. Again, has the recommendations at the top, but I'm not going to go through as they have it, because they give different priorities, and I'd rather you make up your mind on what you think is the right priority, and you learn through by doing. So that's why I'm going to give you advice of what you can change within the sections. Right, so let's go straight down to the on-page SEO. This is their B. And for free, you'll start to see comparisons with the other one and where they've done well and where this one needs to improve. So you get a good flavour of how you might run it against your different websites. Again, as a reminder, on-page SEO is everything to do with your own website and the copying the pages, so the website copy itself, and how you structure that. So in your web content management system, what different tags and what different structures you put in place. Now you can work with a techie or you can make the changes yourself. But your title tag is, in essence, a bit like a book title. You have this on every single page. You definitely have this because this is the one that Google goes, oh, great, that's what you do. And it uses it as a reference for every single page of your website. Again, between 10 and 70 characters, this one's doing really well. The reason being, anything over 70 characters, Google either can truncate it, so change the format of how the title is, or just basically cut a section of it off. This is a length of 45 and it's a big description. It's the Flicka Foundation Donkey Sanctuary Home. It's a good description of what the company, what the charity actually is. If you didn't want to do a dash here, you could do like a line or something else. It's a good way of differentiating that you're on the homepage. This says length of 45, and just a side note, currently, characters around 55 is pretty good for a title at the moment. So a character length of 55 letters is a good title length at the moment, and is getting some good click-through rates on Google. So they're doing that well. Meta description. Remember, this is a description of the services that that page is talking about or provide. So here, this is their homepage it's looking at. It's got a cross. The reason being it's 189. This won't be great because what could happen is all these nice words can get cut off. So they will cut off, can't think of the difference. What's 189 take away 169? 29. So 29 characters, or words, shall I say, letters, could actually be taken off. So 29 letters stroke characters could be taken off, or Google can even change how this is formatted. So it can be a bit strange for the newcomer to see what is kind of there, and it won't help basically in any form of usability. So they need to reformat this so it's under 160 characters. They would need to take out 29 letters from somewhere. Some easy ways of doing that, instead of and, you use the and sign, the ampersand sign. Over 100 animals, what else? Yeah, it's not that you don't think it looks the best when you read it from a human point of view, but you want your SEO to go up. So maybe just put ampersand signs might be the easiest form, or remove some other words there. So Donkey Sanctuary and registered charity. Maybe you don't need registered charity. It's already known it's a registered charity, and maybe that's not what the homepage talks about. So ensure your meta description is short enough for the Googles to easily pick up on what the content of that page is saying or what the key services of your homepage are about. So either content of page or services you're trying to say about the homepage and what it's about. And it doesn't always have to say charity, because you kind of got an understanding of that anyway. Your SERP snippet. Now, this is a piece, Google formulates it on the fly a little bit. And typically it'll be taking something from the title that's there and from the meta description, but it actually can formulate it in a way, or correction, it can be taken from some website copy or web page copies. It's formulated in a way based on how people search for things. So say if I search for donkey sanctuary in the southwest, is it South Cornwall? South Cornwall. This is how Google's thinking it might represent it, or correction, this is how SEO is given a representation of it, how it might get formulated. It's a dynamic snippet of the information based on how people are searching for your site. And Google doesn't actually tell you how it's going to dynamically create it. You will start to see it over time. And you can see, look, it gives you it should be easily readable. So don't worry, it should come up with quite something nice, easily readable. It won't be a load of gobbledygook, but you don't 100% know how it's going to display it. But assure that you have your titles in place. Assure you have the meta description tags in place for each page, and it will make this being formulated a bit easier and a bit nicer and more relatable to how they search. Right, hreflangs, this is used if they have multiple languages on a page. So I'm based in Spain, so I might have an English version, Spanish version, and there might be a Catalan version and where I am. This is just an indicator of the different versions that page has, which Google likes it to indicate, because if you don't, sometimes it can look like you have duplicated copy. Language page, they've got this all set, they like that. Header 1 and header 2. Now, naughty this charity. The header 1s and header 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, if you remember, are the human relatable titles. These are what you see on the web page itself, okay? So a human will see this. So think of H as human headers. If you don't have it on every single page of your website, you are losing potential connection to those keywords when people search for them. A keyword is simply the terms that people search on. So if you don't have it on a page, you can be going down the Google ranking or not being able to maximize your ability to go up the Google ranking. So they would need to make sure that they put on a header 1. So that's what you visually see on every web page. And you can go into a web content management system and easily see if it's a header 1, header 2, header 3, header 4, header 5, header 6, just by looking at the elements within your web content management system, or you can ask a techie to do it for you. Now your header 2s to your header 6, you don't have to have them on each page, but it's good practice to at least have, I would say, header 2s and header 3 on a page, especially if there's a lot of big content, because it starts to help give additional information kind of related to your keywords. But I personally think it can help you go up with Google rankings a little bit, because if you think, well, header 2 is like a subsection of a page, think of it as like defining a chapter of a book or something. It tells you what it is. It's giving it even more additional information to Google as well as the reader, because it helps visually format it for you. But Google can also start to pick up on it and go, oh, that's good. They're talking about this element of this as well. So always use your header 1s as a must, but also see if you can use header 2s and header 3 to segment content on a page so it's more visually appealing, but also as well it gives additional information to Google about what you're talking about in a page. Have I got an example? I'm trying to think. Maybe if we're talking about an event at the local donkey sanctuary, maybe the event is donkey sanctuary event is the header 1, or donkey sanctuary events is the header 1, and then your header 2s might be the dates of those events. So donkey sanctuary or event on 2nd of November, come celebrate with us, the new arrivals, and your header 3 might be, I don't know, feeding time at the event center. I'm really making it up now, but hopefully you get a gist of your header 2s and your header 3s are additional context of a web page. Keyword consistency. Now, here, like before, you've got your singular individual keywords and your phrases. And remember, keywords are what people type in to the search or Google, to Google. It's basically just what they type in, and that's a keyword. So on their individual keywords, I typically only think of things like brand names or things specific to your core business, because they don't make a lot of sense to focus them on alone, not this many anyway, because if you think about it, help can go across businesses. Foundation can go across businesses, home can go across businesses, cares can go across businesses, but maybe donkey they do want and it's worthwhile. But what they're just trying to tell you in this report is to assure that you have this in the title pages, so the title page, which is what Google uses to find the page, the meta description, the description of that page or service, which again Google uses, the human header, so your H1s through to your H6 on the page, and it's also counting the frequency. So this is like an audit of your web page itself. Overall website, shall I say, and it's counting how many times that they appear. So I would only really look at these if they're relating to my brand name or my core service. Anything else will be hard to really focus on, and it all relates to your keyword strategy and your content strategy, which I'm going to do in another course, I think, after this, because it's definitely needed and it'll be a nice lead-in. Phrases is somewhere I probably more focus. So Flicka Foundation is their brand or their organization name. they've got it in their title. I would definitely want to fix it that it's not in their meta description tag, because this is core to the services and what they provide. And they're being good because they're showing it's in their human element header tags. Foundation donkey, that's a bit of a weird way of saying it, but that could be one. Sometimes rephrasing things, because people might type things in a weird way, can help. But I might look at their copy and wonder why the hell it's written that way. Donkey sanctuary makes sense. They've got ticks all across. I don't know who this is. Maybe this is the founder. Ways to help, not something I'd want as my top level keywords. So what this is giving me an idea of, is that their copy is not always representative of maybe how one of their donation people, or what's the word, volunteers, people that want to help, that's a better word, isn't it, actually search for their information. So maybe they would want to look at creating new content aligned to how they search, because the information here isn't that helpful and they are showing the top ones that appear. Amount of content, this is really saying, and this is again kind of aligns it to a content strategy, is they've got 171 words. It creates an average for you. You really, I would say, want about 800 these days. And it can be anything to 2,000 words for really thought piece articles, like long articles where it's really informative. But the reason why you probably average about 800 is you're going to have some web pages that are more just like, contact us. There's not a lot of detail there. But other ones that are more articles about having fun, or about, information about the event center, or how to find us, or, directions of getting there, or maybe it's a thought piece on a new donkey that just arrived to the sanctuary. The reason why you want new content is Google wants new content created all the time, because the more relevant it is, the more that they believe there is going to be a demand for that content. So a good strategy for this donkey sanctuary will be to create new content on a regular basis aligned to what they want to talk about. So introduction to new donkey arrivals, or the day in the life of our farm or our donkey sanctuary, are all good thought pieces to put up there to assure that they stay up the rankings, and to assure that they have a higher level of work count because they're creating more content. Another way to get around not having thin content, and it actually is alluded to here, is the conical, I can never say this, tags, is these tags means that the way that they've designed it, they've done something strange. Sometimes there's this question mark after your and that's wonderful for tracking pages, okay, and analytics. It's not wonderful always for SEO. And so you need to inform SEO and you need to tell Google what to do with these things. The reason being is anything after this page actually can mean it's exactly the same page that's displayed. However, it's just past analytical information for people to track. But SEO doesn't know that, and so then treats this all gobbledygook after the question mark as a separate page. But that separate page has exactly the same content or very minimal difference. So that means that Google goes, or SEO goes, you know what? Are you just duplicating content, guys? That's naughty. And you actually can go down on the rankings. And it's quite a hard thing to do. And Google's actually not figured it out either, what the best practices are on this. And believe me, this is a whole new level course of what to do. But top tip, talk to your techie persons about chronicle tags if they ever use anything like this afterwards. And then see how to cope with that, because there are different measures that you can put in place. And you know what, you can also ask me questions for advice during your project work if you wanted to. But that might be why the amount of content is thin, because not only do they check the amount of words, they also check to make sure there's no duplication and won't double count that. Right, next one, Alt images, that's in place. So that's your description of the images. So a donkey might be in a field. Mary the new donkey, looking very happy in some grass and talking to the local sheep. It's a descriptive element of the picture that you've taken to be informative, emotive, emotional, put all those nice bits in it because it helps with people that are using readers to use your website. So it helps those that are vision impaired to get a rich experience of your website. No tag index, you have this when it's not your website, or you might also have it on social channels. So you don't want SEO to follow all these different ones because they're not your asset. They're not your website. So when it's an external link, you'd probably have a no index or a no follow type tag, and your techie people can help you with that. They've got it in place. Then your SSL, that's your secure socket layer, is this S piece on your HTTP. Now, Google actually kind of made it necessary for everyone now because they give a horrible warning if you don't have it and you only have the HTTP, saying, are you sure you want to go to this site? It's not secure. Do you want to press here? Big warning sign now. But good news is nearly every provider provides the certificates for free. That was something that got passed because of that. But those free certificates, warning, normally have an expiry of every 3 months. You have to renew them every 3 months. And they're good. They've got their robots that can index it. These are bots that can go through the site and search things. They're not always just for Google. They're for other search engines. Blocked by robots. There's nothing blocked at the moment, so they can search your site, is basically what it's saying. An XML sitemap. Now, this is good for your Google searches and your other bots, actually. When you have a human site map, you can click on it and say, our sitemap, and you see all the links. Now, you want an XML one because it's more data formatted for the search engines to easily see it and understand it. And they've got that in place. They also have their Google Analytics in place, and a schema org, which is XML, they don't. This is a bit of an extension of this XML thing, but it's for how the overall pages of your website are structured. A schema org are a technical way of saying, oh, this piece sits over here on this page. This piece sits over here on this page. It's to enable search engines to easily identify what sits where, and guess what? They like that. Rather than having to trawl through it like a human connection like we do, or this page goes over there and we see it visually, they want to see it from a data point of view and understand where it all sits from a data point of view. And that's what a schema org does. Okay, I think we've gone through this section now. And rankings, as before, these are different. Let's have a look. This shows the top 10 key rankings, the specific location. This is the list of ordered by the keywords that drive the most traffic to your page. Okay, funny enough, Donkey Sanctuary drives quite a lot of traffic to the page. The Flicka Foundation is the second one. So actually, the bigger Donkey Sanctuary drives more traffic, or the keyword, when they type in Donkey Sanctuary, a customer types in Donkey Sanctuary, drives the most traffic to this page. The next one is their brand name. Next one is the Flicka Foundation Cornwall. So Donkey Sanctuary is pretty big for them. You would expect that, actually. Then this one is 10 keywords positions. In essence, really, you want to try and be up at these top levels. It would be perfect. However, you need content and keyword strategy in place to enable you to go up here. It's saying that most of your keywords are properly at this position. So that means that you actually have lots of areas that you could improve by considering what content engages with your audience, looking how they search for this, and creating content aligned to how they search. So that isn't your audit report, but your audit report is just giving you a flavour here and saying, you know what, guys, we actually could make a lot of improvements by trying to go up here. And that definitely will improve your search engine page rankings. Okay, we've done through that section now.